So here we go. Low string, 6 string. So piano. Hey everybody, this is Rob Ash with GuitarZoom.com with a new lesson for you on chord theory. I know what you're thinking, chord theory, I don't know, Rob, that sounds like schoolwork or academic stuff. Not really into it. Just cut me some slack. This is helpful. I try to make this as painless as possible. Trust me, I went through the music theory courses at college. It's some people really get into it, some really don't. It's like some people are good at math, some people don't like it at all. I was one of those kids that I enjoyed it, but it was obviously confusing at times because there's a lot to learn. So basically what we wanted to do, with any of my students, whether it's people my age, older folks, kids, almost everybody asks the same kind of thing. I just want to be able to learn some songs. I want to be able to pick up an acoustic guitar, strum some chords, and be able to understand what I'm doing so that I can read a chord chart and understand what it says. Because I don't understand, like, what's with the letters? I don't get the letters. There's no letters on this thing, Rob. What do I do? And I completely get that. That's kind of why I created this lesson, because it allows you to take some of the mystery out of the guitar. Because when you're just looking at it, you've got it's a piece of wood with some little metal bars and metal strings going across, and nothing's labeled, and you're trying to figure out how to create, all these different sounds, when if you're just strumming it, it doesn't make that sound. You have to put your fingers in the right spot. So basically what I did is we took kind of the classic caged system, C-A-G-E-D, taking these chord shapes and putting them out in a fashion that will be easy to digest, that you can go through, learn where everything is on the guitar, how things fit together, why they are the way they are with the standard tuning, and then be able to start doing some building blocks of, okay, if someone says, I need to play an A chord here, how do we build the A? How do we make it sound major versus minor? And we talk through that with some of the the chord shapes that we have. We can adjust. That's the nice thing about the guitar, is that in comparison to being laid out like a piano, where a piano you've got, it's in a straight line. It's a linear instrument. You've got on the left-hand side, when you're sitting down on it, is your low notes, and then each note gets higher all the way up to the end of the scale over here. And the guitar is laid out in a very similar way. It doesn't necessarily look like it, but it is. So you've got these strings that go from the nut to the bridge, low to high, left to right, just like when you're sitting at a piano. But the tricky part is there's 6 of them. So you've got 6 pianos stacked on top of each other, sideways on this little wooden box, basically. So what we're having to do is not only go in a linear fashion, but it's also going down. So you've got latitude and longitude, and you're having to try and figure out how to connect both of those things together in order to make the harmonies and the chords that you really want to have for whether it's playing a song or whatever you may be doing. So what we do is break down, okay, what does each of these frets, when you're in standard tuning, what letter is actually corresponding with that? So we'll break down every single note on the guitar and then show you how to start looking at it, like how to create yourself a roadmap for success, so that you can look at the guitar, instead of seeing all these frets and strings, you're seeing chords, and you're seeing notes, and you're seeing scales, and all this other good stuff that you actually make the music out of. So one of the things we talk about is the actual scale length of the guitar and the 50-yard line at the 12th fret. That's why you've got these harmonics there. It's because this is halfway between the nut and the bridge. So that way it lets you know that everything that's happening down here repeats itself up here. It's just an octave higher. So you don't have to learn everything that's up here because you're already learning it down here. You just reapply it up here. It's just the same notes. It just sounds higher because it's an octave higher. So what we do is we break down how each of these frets is assigned a letter or a note. And we focus everything in standard tuning. So none of this crazy funky stuff with open tunings or anything like that. That's for another day. We just want to focus on standard tuning and just kind of go from there. So we'll go through, we'll show you each of the notes that's on the guitar, and then we start breaking down of how do we start forming chords. Like, what is a chord? How do you create them in Western music? And so we talk through some of the theory with stacking thirds and what is a third. How do we create a major chord versus a minor chord, and how are they constructed? So just for instance, with a major chord, it's a major third and a minor third stacked together. So a major third would be something like C and E put together. And these are actually 4 half steps apart. So if C's here, 1, 2, 3, and there's E. Now this E and this E are the same. They're a unison. Even though they're 5 notes apart. Just the way the guitar is laid out. So what we do for our chord, for our standard C chord, is we put them right next to each other. There's your major third. Now, to fill it out, we add in the 5th, which is G. And that's actually a minor third from the E. So C to E is a major third, E to G is a minor third. Then we add in a C octave and another E, and you get your classic cowboy C. Perfect for singing Kumbaya by the fire and trying to impress some girls. Okay, so how do we make this a minor chord? Well, that's a good question. So what we do is we're just taking the E, so that's our third. That's kind of the key to this whole thing, is we take that and we drop it down a half step. So we take this E and we get onto E flat. That sounds kind of mean. Now with this particular voicing, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to try and hold this E flat and then strum out with an E. It's just gonna sound nasty because the E flat and the E, they're a minor second. It doesn't sound too good. So we're gonna try and avoid that. So what we do is we take a different voicing and just go, and there's a nice C minor. So you can have your C here, but if you play your C minor here, so there's what a C would look like with a different position. We just drop that third down. Okay? So that's how you can adjust these chords, by stacking thirds and adjusting which one has the focal point for the chord. So you take down that third from major to a minor, it's going to change things. It's going to sounding really, happy and up. It sounds minor, a little more ominous, a little bit more gritty. It's the same thing like if we were to look at another like A. A is an easy one. So there's our A major. Okay. Now we take this third, C sharp, move it down half step, straight up spaghetti western. Okay. Notice how it changes the color. Major up, a little more ominous, a little darker. So that's one of the things we do in the lesson, where we go through all A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and show you how to play several versions of a major chord, and then take those same versions and make them a minor chord. So this really helps kind of kickstart your ability to read chord charts, to be able to look at a song on paper and go, okay, can I actually play this? And do I know where the notes are going to go? Because, when I was younger and, I really want to learn a song by Neil Young. And I was like, oh man, I love Neil Young. I really want to learn this song. And then I go and look at the lyrics, and then it's just got these chords, these letters floating over the top. And I was like, what does that mean? I need the shapes. And if they didn't have the shapes of like where to put your fingers on the frets, I didn't know where to go. So as you start learning a little bit more and you learn where the notes are on the guitar, then you can start adjusting things a little bit. Like, okay, well, there's this A, and I like the way this one sounds, but what if I wanted to make it sound like this? Okay, cool. Now if I want to make it minor, just drop the third out. Back to major. Key change, same shape, goes to G. So that's just kind of an example of how you can take these shapes and learn what they are on the guitar, and then be able to move them all over the place for a variety of different reasons. Where you want to, you're writing a tune and you want to make change the line a little bit and change how things go. You can take these shapes and move them around. It also gives you a lot of different options when you are learning songs to try out different things and see what sounds best, because each of these different voicings could have a different personality to them and maybe would fit a different type of song or a different style of a song. And when you have more options available to you, you can be pickier about where you want to go and why you want to go there. So we talked through a few different things like that. We also do, some great exercises on inversions that help you see the fretboard a lot differently than you probably do if you're just starting, or maybe have learned a few chords but don't understand how the rest of the neck looks. If you know the way to work and you're like, okay, well, I can get to work and I can go to the store and drop my kids off at school and then I can go back home. But if I want to go to a different part of town, like up here, I'm like, if you haven't been there before, you might not know where to turn. So what we're trying to do is give you the whole map for everything for the fretboard, so you know where to go, and give yourself different exercises that you can learn different voicings, learn different ways to phrase chords, and give yourself a lot of different options when you're learning tunes. So again, this is the chord theory for songs lesson for GuitarZoom.com. My name's Rob, and I hope you guys enjoy the lesson.